I did want to keep it to 10 songs. I wanted to keep it concise. I didn't want
Why
it to feel
10?
swollen. I just felt like 10 was the right number. Elton John told me 10. He said, don't let it be more than 10 songs. So you do what Elton says.
Hey friends, it's your girl, Emily Curl, and today we're hanging out with Marcus Mumford as we celebrate his new album, Self-Titled. Marcus, thanks for being here. It's good to see you again.
Thanks for having me. How you doing?
I'm good. I was thinking about the last time I saw you, which if we take it back a little bit, I was screaming at you from the steps of the Met Gala as you were walking in.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I was like, Marcus over here, iHeartRadio. It was so fun getting to see you there. But I didn't get to make it inside. I have to ask you, how was that experience? What was it like on the inside?
Oh, it's completely bizarre. It's so weird. It's as
Was
weird
it?
as you would imagine it to be. The days where you could smoke in the toilets, those are really fun days.
And of course, we're celebrating a lot tonight. Congratulations, Self-Titled, your debut solo project, which is a big deal. How are you feeling releasing this album?
Yeah, I'm relieved that it's coming out at last. It's been the longest period of time I've ever gone without releasing music. And it was the longest project I've ever worked on too. It took like a year and a half.
Really? That doesn't strike me as that long. Typically it's a little shorter for you.
Yeah, I mean, we recorded the first album in 3 weeks, but this is partly COVID, partly scheduling and then, yeah, just waiting until the songs were right. I was refusing to refer to it as an album, and it was a collection of songs until I felt like I had all the songs ready and could call it an album. So it was a good, long process. So I'm kind of relieved it's at last coming out.
And this album, have you always had the idea that you wanted to do something like this? Did it spark from something? Where did this come from?
Yeah, no, it didn't. I'd never intended on making a solo record. I sort of went away in January 21 and said I'd just start writing songs and follow where the songs led. And the first 2 songs I wrote, I played to the other guys in my band, and we all sort of discussed it and agreed it was a solo record. And then I just started following the songs, and one song would lead to another. And then suddenly I was making a solo record, I guess. When
you played it for the band, what did they think of those first 2 original songs?
I think they liked them. I don't think they liked them enough to make them band songs. No, they were really sweet, and they've been so supportive the whole way through, honestly. It's been really cool.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, and it's called Self-Titled, which obviously is a play on words because it's not self-titled, but called Self-Titled. How'd you decide on the name?
I just thought there would be too many Marcuses and Mumfords if it was proper self-titled. And I also like the idea that other people could access it, that it was more inviting to other people for it to be their record as well, which sounds like the kind of cliche that's rolled out by musicians. But the truth is, like, one of my favorite things about writing songs is that other people can identify with them in some way in their own stories. And they're never the same stories, obviously, because each of our stories are so different. But I like the idea that people might be able to relate and hear their own story, at least through 1 or 2 of the songs, or sometimes all of them. So I like the idea that for whoever was listening to it, it could be self-titled,
And let's talk about, too, the content and the lyrics. They're very vulnerable. They're really personal. How did you know it felt like the right time to share that, again, from your own personal experiences?
Yeah, it's always a weird thing, taking these private moments and publicizing them as widely as you can. It's just a strange thing that we do, but it felt like an extension for me of the person that I am to write songs about my experiences. And I've always written autobiographically. I'm not very good at imagining myself in someone else's shoes and writing from that point of view. Some of my favorite songwriters are people like Bob Dylan, are unbelievable at it. I'm just rubbish at it. So I've got to write my stuff. And eventually, when I was writing it, I was really intent on not thinking about releasing it, not thinking about how people would hear it or how it would sound live, or not worrying about who I was going to play it with live if it wasn't the band. Because obviously I've spent the last 15 years only writing songs for the band. So I put my blinkers on, and I just really tried to focus on writing songs that were honest and true, and that felt good to play. So
yeah, I mean, you're going to play them live tonight. Have you played the album before? Is this the first time?
No, this is the first time.
How are you feeling gearing up for that? I can imagine it's a lot of emotions.
I had a moment on stage
through.
just now in soundcheck where I was like, I think I've just got it's such a privilege to play at all, play in front of people, to congregate again. This is like my first gig after COVID.
Oh, really? This is the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and to play with these musicians, So I'm trying to be present and enjoy it because it's fun.
I mean, going back to the creation too, making your own solo album, what was the most challenging part of creating this album, this project, that maybe you didn't expect outside of when you'd make, something for the band?
I was really intentional on the sound of this one, and I worked with this producer, Blake Mills, who's a good friend of mine anyway. And we were relentless in trying to make it sound as good as we could. And I spent more time focusing on detail than I ever have in the recording process before. And I think that's been a healthy thing for my craft. But it was pretty obsessive. We wouldn't leave it alone, and we keep going and keep chiseling. And it's hard to maintain perspective when you're so focused on something, and it's our jobs really to be OCD about how we approach these recordings. And it can be all encompassing. So then you leave and you kind of take it with you. And that was just over a long period of time. It was like 18 months.
Yeah. Well, with so many iterations, how did you know when it was done? When did you wipe your hands and you're like, I'm done?
Yeah. Some of the offcuts are wicked, actually. I was listening back to some demos we made and some of the recordings that didn't make the record, because I did want to keep it to 10 songs. I wanted to keep it concise. I didn't want it to feel swollen. I just felt like 10 was the right number. Elton John told me 10. He said, don't let it be more than 10 songs. So you do what Elton says. And I just feel like at the moment, I think shorter albums can help us fall back in love with albums again. Our attention spans have been shrinking a bit, I think, and I think they'll expand again. But just right now in this moment, I'm not one for like an 18-song album right now.
There you go. What's the last album that you feel like you fell in love with?
Kendrick's last album.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm head over heels in love with that record. So it happens to me quite a lot because I like listening to whole records. But that was the last one that, top to bottom, I just listened to pretty religiously.
I mean, when you create an album, as with the band by yourself, I mean, it takes a village. It takes a whole team. Did you have a support system through this album in particular because it was so personal to you?
It changed a lot from the band setup. We changed management, and honestly, I'd spent 15 years working in quite a male-dominated environment, and even behind the scenes, as well as the features on the record and the people involved in the writing process, it was like a relief to work with women again, honestly. So there's more women on my team now, both in the management side, publishing and record labels, and my agent, and that has felt, so the support team changed a bit. And honestly, having the feminine energy back in my work, because that's how I started out playing drums for Laura Marling, has been like a relief to me. It's been fun.
Yeah, I love that. And for your fans listening, one last question before you go. For your fans listening, if they take away one thing from Self-Titled, what do you hope it is?
Freedom.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a record about freedom, I had to start with some of the more difficult stuff because I think to get to reconciliation, you have to have truth. So I needed to start with some truths, which are quite hard to hear. And that the way that we rolled this album out, some of the earlier songs are harder to listen to because they're some of the harder truths about my life. But then once you get through those first couple, it's really a record about freedom and about healing. So that would be the one thing I'd want people to take from it, but they can take whatever the fuck they want.
I love it. I love it. Marcus, you were the best. Congratulations again, Self-Titled Out. Enjoy tonight, and thank you so much as always for your time.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for hanging out with us here at iHeartRadio. Make sure you go stream Marcus Mumford's new album, Self-Titled. It's out now, and we'll see you next time.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Did you like that video? You can check out more over here. And don't forget to subscribe to iHeart right here. And if you're already a longtime fan, make sure you ring the bell down below so you don't miss a single video. Bye guys.